Jonathan Frost, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
How did your parents name you Jonathan? Who are you named after?
Jonathan, I believe that it was out of the Bible, Jonathan and David. David Frost. Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, that's what they've told me.
You were raised in what part of the United States?
Chattanooga, Tennessee,
Yes.
up on a mountain called Signal Mountain.
So for those people that do not know about Chattanooga, which I do to a degree, it is some beautiful country.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's a small little city that's down by the Tennessee River, Lookout Mountain and Signal Mountain surround it. Yeah.
So what you have become is an expert. And to become an expert at something is not easy. You know, Malcolm Gladwell talks about it takes at least 10,000 hours to master something.
Right.
But you've become an expert to the degree that I listen to you. Other people that are out there influencing others listen to you. And so it was not overnight. You had to grow into this idea of understanding money as well.
Right.
When you were a senior in high school, what did you think you were going to be in life?
I mean, to be honest with you, I felt like I was going to be an accountant.
Yes.
Yeah. My dad's an accountant. My grandfather's an accountant. His brother was an accountant. And so it was always kind of in my blood, I guess,
Yes.
to be helping people with money, to be helping people grow money, to be helping people make money.
Okay, so that's one reason that I reached out to you just to dialogue about money, is because I have a lot of friends who a life interruption hit them. And they found very quickly that they did not have the money to pay for that life interruption. I know a 55-year-old man who had been working for the same company for 30 years, lost his job. And then all of a sudden, Jonathan did not know what to do because he did not have money in reserve. How common is this?
I mean, it happens all the time. I would say that 80% of Americans don't have any type of savings. They have no savings for that unexpected event where they might be losing their job, and they've got to prepare for that.
Okay, so I have a saying that says, if you don't do something with life, life will do something with you, okay? So in the area of finances, we teach a lot of things in high school, but there's very little taught about money.
Right.
And how is that affecting us in a negative way?
Well, I mean, I think that when you're younger, you don't really think about money. It's just kind of there, right? Your parents they just have it,
Yes.
right? I want to get this, I want to get that. Like it all of a sudden just kind of happens. But as you get older and you learn about what it takes to make a dollar, you soon realize, I mean, this is a difficult thing. It's not only difficult just to make the money, it's difficult to keep the money.
Yes.
And so when you're in school, they're not teaching you any of that.
Yes.
And so when you get out in the real world and you get a job and you go get a house and you start having kids, I mean, this is like the American dream, right? I mean, all of a sudden, all these bills start coming in. The air conditioning breaks.
Exactly.
I had to replace 2 tires this week.
Yes.
$500, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where does that come from? And how do you be intentional? How are you intentional about creating a savings or creating the ability to be able to pay for those things when it comes out
Okay,
of
so
the
you
book?
just said a very key word to me, intentional.
Yes.
And in your course, you teach us the power of intention, that we can intentionally not be in debt, intentionally have money in savings in the bank, intentionally invest. Okay?
Yes.
Talk to me about this idea of the power of intention.
Well, I mean, with anything that you want to have intention with, you've got to pay attention to it. You've got to watch it.
Wow.
You have got to watch your money. You've got to pay attention to it. You've got to report on it. Even as a household unit, you got to pay attention to it. So you've got to be watching your money. You got to watch how much comes in and then how much is going out.
Yes.
And in order to stay out of debt or to reduce your debt, you've got to know and write down how much debt you have
Yes.
first. That's the first thing.
So
Where am I?
Very,
right?
very good, Jonathan, because like in my family growing up, my father was a steel worker for Bethlehem Steel. My mother worked at Winchell's Donut Shop. Father had a 10th grade education, mother had a 6th grade education. So we were always just trying to get by, and we were trying to make ends meet. Can you address that for me a little bit? Because I feel like so many people that are taking this course from literally all over the world, they're trying to make ends meet, and very rarely do the ends meet. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that, it starts with that idea of intentionality. It starts with watching your money, but to make ends meet, you got to figure out what your ends are first.
Ooh, that's good.
You got to know what type of lifestyle do you want to have, and does that lifestyle fit what amount of money you're making right now?
Okay, so we have to have that going forward.
Yes.
And that's something that I know for a fact in even interviewing my mother, is my mother's now 88 years of age, and they never had those kind of talks amongst each other about what their goals were for their finances. So you just really helped us right then, is that, what are your goals to make your ends meet? Right,
yeah, exactly. Luckily when I was growing up, we talked about money a lot. We talked about business a lot. It was very common around the dinner table. That's all we talked about, really.
Yes.
And so, I've been surrounded by this idea of money and what money can accomplish and what money does, and making ends meet and creating more of a profit for yourself.
Okay.
Not just meeting the ends, but we talked about that all the time. And it starts with matching that up with what's coming in and what's going out.
Okay, so the J.D. Frost way of doing things is that you're teaching us we have to sit and learn, get educated, that we stand in what we have been learning, and then we begin to walk out the principles.
Yes.
Okay? And then from walking, you teach in your course that we can then learn to run, and then some people can learn to soar. And I think that you would agree that so many of us that just are influenced by social media and even television, we see these people soaring, and people want to soar without taking the J.D. Frost way of sitting, standing, walking, running.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously you cannot soar immediately.
Okay.
It looks like that you can, but it's just not possible.
Okay.
You've got to start from the very beginning with the fundamentals.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So to sit in the J.D. Frost way is to be educated.
Correct.
All right, so you have been educated in the area of finances, and just tell us where you got your education and a few things that you learned.
I went to college at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, got my Bachelor of Science in accounting.
Yes.
And then I went and got my graduate degree, got an MBA from UTC as well. And then I studied for the CPA exam and passed the CPA exam in 2009.
And that's one reason I listen to you, because I know a lot of smart people in Beverly Hills, but I'm trying to tell you, Jonathan, you know what you're talking about.
Well, the CPA exam taught me a lot about fundamentals. Taught me a lot about the fundamentals of studying, and educating myself and finding out what works. CPAs, there's a lot of CPAs out there.
Okay.
And they're gonna be teaching you those fundamentals as well.
So the course that we're watching right now, for all those that are viewing, is a course that's going to teach us to understand money, right? It's going to teach us how to handle our money. It's going to teach us how to get through difficult times, but it's also going to teach us stewardship. Why is stewardship of money so important?
Well, I believe stewardship of money is important because you're blessed with a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Whether you feel like that you are blessed with a little bit of money or a lot of money, you're still a steward of that.
Okay.
And it takes a certain intention with that money in order to put it in the right places.
Yes.
That's part of being a steward.
And I like how you think in your course that you teach, is that you are really showing these principles that are biblical principles about the power of stewardship, about prospering where you're planted, I think so many people want more, but they're not handling what they have.
That's right. Yes. I mean, and I think that a lot of people, like we were talking about before, about soaring first.
Yes.
It's so easy to see that and to go do it. You see people on social media, they've been at this for a long time. They did the fundamentals, they did the work, and now they are soaring. And I would define soaring as making money with your money.
Okay.
Making money without having to do anything.
Right.
Passive income, some people have called it, right?
Yes.
That's what we call it in the accounting world.
Okay.
Active income is something completely different. Active income is completed directly from those fundamentals and that intentionality that we were talking about.
Okay, so if you don't mind, I would like to go through 3 different levels of people's lives and how J.D. Frost would help them in the 3 different levels. Number 1, the young person coming up. Okay?
Right.
So how do they sit and learn? And then the second would be the middle-aged person, and then the person coming into their 70s and that they are trying to have legacy money there. So first, the young person coming up, how do they sit and learn? How do they learn, Jonathan, about taxes, the importance of money, about planning, stewardship, all the things you teach in this course?
So, I mean, the first thing when you're starting out, I mean, at each stage, no matter what, you got to have a certain goal.
Okay.
So what are your goals when you're first starting out? You want to get educated.
Right.
Okay, in order to get educated, you have to surround yourself with smart people. You need to watch this course.
You have to watch this, believe me.
You got to watch this course because what I see with a lot of younger people starting out is that they want to be soaring immediately. Well, that's just, you've got to educate yourself and understand that's not going to happen.
I would say 8 out of 10 young people that I life coach want to soar immediately, just like you said.
Yes.
So they're thinking about becoming huge on Instagram, or becoming a famous singer, or a famous model, or a famous actor, something that would cause them to soar immediately, and really that's about like 1%.
Right, right. I mean, they've got to figure out how to make money.
Okay.
You've got to make money, keep money, and then enjoy money.
Ooh.
Those 3 things.
Can you say that again?
You need to make money, keep money, and enjoy money. And I
Okay.
think the 3 stages that you're talking about, really, if you can remember those 3 things,
Yeah.
in the early stage, when you're younger, in your 20s, you're figuring out how to make money.
Yeah, I mean, people need to almost get that tattooed on them.
Yeah,
Because
it's right.
Because I like what you just said, because you're saying that if I learn that early on, right?
Yes.
I can take that into my next stage, which would be like my 40s and 50s, and then I can take that into my 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Exactly. I mean, the business owners that I see, and I see over 500 different business owners every single year. I see their businesses. I see how they spend money. I see how they are stewards of money. Some of
Yes.
them are better stewards than others. But the ones that enjoy it the most are the ones that realize at each stage you've got to have the ability to make money.